Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. With me this evening, you've seen this face before, is Peter Arcuri, the Singing Sommelier. But he's also, as you might recall, but some may not know, the author of a wonderful book, Espiritus, which is now available. I'm so excited to let you know this in hard copy. I'm going to hook up the link to the prior interview with Peter regarding this wonderful book. Thank you so much, Peter, for being here. Excuse my throat, everyone. It's a New
Thanks for
York
having
thing
me again.
tonight.
Thank you again for having me again. It's very nice.
Oh, it's always an honor and a pleasure. And I am so excited that you now have your own YouTube channel. What is exactly the name of your channel? Want to make sure.
Okay, it's called Accapella Pete, the
Yes.
Singing Sommolier. I decided to combine two of my passions, which is wine and singing. I actually did this 20 years ago. All the casinos in Lake Tahoe, I would sing, and I would do a wine dinner, and I would explain each wine, each course, and give a song. And people liked it. I mean, they're the old songs that we still have to hang on to just for the history of American music. I mean, if you look at all the singers now, Tony Bennett's the only one left. You know, I try to bring back, the songs that you and I grew up with, like Uncle Sal. I used to play them all the time in his little den. He played Frank Sinatra. He had the reel-to-reel recordings. He was the first guy till I saw that collected music and recorded music. So, I mean, from as a kid, I really admire that.
Thank you for mentioning our Uncle Sal, because actually Peter is kind of like a cousin to me. He's my cousin-in-law, but
Yeah, something
actually
like
like
that.
a
Yeah,
actually like a cousin. But we do share the same uncle, which is really cute.
right.
And it's always wonderful to see you off camera, on camera, always your whole family. So, okay, so I have a couple of questions. I mean, first of all, I'm totally excited that you decided to do a YouTube channel. And I encourage anyone that wants to decide to start a YouTube channel, take the plunge. Yes, it's scary the very first time you slam on the record button. I grant you that. But you get over it. Right, Peter? You got over it.
Well, yeah, it's not like you're dealing with an audience. You just got to look at a little camera that you can barely see on your computer. So it really isn't too intimidating. There's only one or two other people, my family, in the room, and they've been hearing me sing and watching me drink for a long time. So it's nothing new for them.
All right, here we go. Peter, so tell us about your channel and how would you actually describe your channel?
Well, it's called Accapella Pete, the Singing Sommelier. What I do is I lead with a wine tip. I spent many years in the vineyard in California growing grapes and making wine. That's my education. And it was a great hobby making wine. It made me feel like the old Italians years ago. We had them in the neighborhood, on Mulberry Street, Thompson Street, all around the cellar, making wine. So I thought it was nice to carry on the tradition. And I want to keep wine simple. I hated the snobbery of it all, like with the glass and swirling and sticking. You don't even know why you're sticking your nose in the glass, but you're doing it because you want to look cool and you want to impress people. I would always ask. When I taught wine, I would always have lawyers and doctors because they seem to be the guys that own the vineyards. They have the money, and I would start off. I knew I may be a little bit inferior with my education. Doctors and lawyers. So I would first say, welcome to the class, and I want someone here to tell me what pH is. And everybody look, well, that's pH. What is it? I go, well, it's acid. I go, well, what does the P mean and what does the H mean?
Right.
Nobody knows. Well, nobody knew. I should say people know. It's P is positive, H is hydrogen. It's the number of positively charged hydrogen ions. And I would lose them from there.
I'm impressed.
I would just, and that was the purpose. Now I want to make it easy. Drinking wine should be a pleasure. You shouldn't be intimidated by it. You shouldn't be intimidated by anybody, even when you go into a restaurant to order wine. If you like a blush wine, a sweet wine, order it. Don't be intimidated. You don't have to spend $1,000 on a Cabernet to impress somebody. I always impress somebody at wine functions and picnics. I would bring the cheapest bottle of wine I could find that was good. And they would hold up their Silver Oaks and their Cambus's, and I would hold up my $2 Chuck and say, hey, I got this for $3. And I would take the labels off. What do you think? once you get the label off the wines taste differently because you don't know.
Yes.
So I want to make wine easy for everybody to enjoy.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful because I agree with you. It can be a little intimidating for the person that's not knowledgeable. And the other thing is a person that is not too knowledgeable might get, I hate to say this word, rooked at a restaurant because the server may sense that lack of knowledge and offer you the most expensive stuff for sales purposes, which is not necessarily always.
Well, you want to pad the bill. I spent a lot of time in restaurants. You want to pad the bill. You want to. There's more money in beverages than there is in food. I mean, think about
Bro.
it. You buy. Say you and I go out. We buy 2 entrees, $30-$40 each. That's $60-$80. Well, the bottle of wine could be $50. Your after dinner drink, that's what breaks me because I like the coffee and dessert and the cognacs.
Yes.
And the Madeiras and the ports, and now you're getting into some expensive things. So
What
the beverages
scares
can
you?
really be, a way of adding on money to your tab.
You're 100% right. But you know what, Peter? Honestly, what scares me is the possibility of a dishonest person. I mean, that to the not knowledgeable person sneaking in, very not great wine. I mean, I don't know if that happens. I hope to goodness it never happens. I've never run into it, but I have heard it's possible.
Yeah, the way I used to be, if one of my servers suggested a bottle of wine for $100, and they'd bring it over and they uncork it and give them a taste, and the guy says, "Well, I don't like it." You can't say it's bad because I could tell you if it's bad or not. But if you didn't like it, you didn't have to drink it. I would take it back and I would get a credit for it. That's the way customer service works. This isn't if it isn't the wine I described. But if I describe it, it's going to be what you're tasting. If it's not the wine I described for some reason, if it's too oaky, if too big berried, too spicy, if it's a Zinfandel, well, yeah, I want to explain it, and you can't tell me the wine's bad because I'll take it back and exchange it. But if it's not bad, there's nothing wrong with this wine. The fact that you may not like it, that's a different story. Same thing as when if somebody orders a steak, they order a steak and they just don't like it. You have the right to refuse it. You don't see it happen a lot, but if I order a steak medium or medium rare, and it comes medium or medium well, I'm not going to eat it. I mean, I may eat it just to not cause a problem, but you should get what you want. And in wine, it should be the same thing. They should explain to you what wine is going with the. I mean, if I'm ordering lobster, I'm not going to suggest a big red Zinfandel. No, they don't match.
No,
Chardonnays go with lobster. I mean, you have to know. You got to know what you're doing, more or less.
And it strikes me, you very well know what you're doing in regards to this specific area for sure. And getting back to your channel, just as a channel content creator like I am, and now you are for a little while now, actually, what is your channel's mission?
My mission, first of all, is to make wine easy. The KISS theory, keep it simple, stupid. You just want everybody to enjoy it. I try not to use all the big fancy words, and I try to speak the way I was raised. Like a New York Italian. I mean, if I wanted to be like snooty, I can be, but it's really not me. I mean, it's right. You're going to see through it. And so I want to make wine easy for people to enjoy and understand. And as far as singing, I've always sang. I mean, I think when I was 6 years old, I had aspirations to be a lounge singer. I mean, I love listening to Frank Sinatra, Bobby Darin, all the Italian guys singing Italian songs, Pavarotti, Jerry Vale. I mean, that's what I grew up with.
Yes.
People singing. And
you
I
sing
just
from
like
the
to combine
heart.
the two.
You're very
talented. I do everything from the heart.
I see that. You're very genuine, sincere. Love it.
And I'm told, in church, that I should share my talents. I can't cook for you because I cook, but I could talk about wine and I could give you a song.
Oh, that's awesome. And what is a sommelier?
A sommelier, Sommelier. It's at one time it was meant a little looser, a wine steward, which is somebody who just procures the wine, takes care of it, serves it, does inventory. But then there became different levels of sommelier. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. I got my education in a vineyard with a shovel. I learned from literally the ground up how to grow grapes, how to grow them well. I did this all in Sonoma County, which was not too challenging because the weather and the soil is just great to grow anything, any kind of vegetable. And I would grow the grapes. I would develop like different trellis systems, how the grapes grew, what the soil could hold. I would do grafting on different rootstocks. So once you get the grapes down, I studied enology, which is winemaking. Only by accident, because I had all these grapes now. I would have friends come over, okay, we're going to pick some grapes. What are we going to do with them? Well, we got to make wine. So I would start taking courses through Santa Rosa Junior College in Sonoma, and then UC Davis, University of California, Davis, in Davis. And they have like one of the few viticultural enology programs in the country. Cornell has one, and so does Washington State. So they're very few and far between. I started taking blending classes online and go to Davis once in a while. And I took a test for the level 1 sommelier. And that's where I'm at. That's like
amazing.
you still have to learn, you still got to learn all the French wines, but the term, if you're in the vineyard, if you're in a vineyard in California or in Europe and you're making wine, sommelier means nothing. It's somebody that could really memorize a lot of labels and all the chateaus from Bordeaux. You know, you got to learn how to taste. That's really difficult. How to taste different nuances and Burgundies and Pinot Noirs. You got to know what to look for. I remember tasting wines with all these fancy people, and I'd be in a meeting with 25 people. I'm concentrating on the wine, sniffing it. What am I getting out of it? And I look up, and everybody's looking at me. I go, what are you looking at me for? What do you get out of it? Well, whatever you get out of it is what we're going to get out of it. That's the right answer. I go, but this isn't cheating. This
Good
is
point.
What you get. Maybe I get cassis, maybe you get strawberry. Everybody's palate's different. You got to know what the flavors are going to be like prior to tasting it. You know, so I want to keep everything really, really easy. But I got my education with a shovel, I always say.
I think that's
getting
wonderful.
my hands really red with tannins from crushing grapes and punching them down. And I made in my career of winemaking on the amateur level, I made 12 different wines. I won a medal for each one, whether it was the State Fair or the Harvest Fair in Sonoma County.
Wow.
And actually, I won a double gold one. I won a double gold at the State Fair for a blend I made. So you really, you know, it really isn't difficult. Our grandfathers knew it, you know, how to do it. And I sort of kept the same approach, keep it simple.
You know, I don't know if you're aware of this, but this is so interesting. My word of the year is simplicity. That is my mantra for 2022. I'm so happy that's why I chuckled when you said the keep it simple thing. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes. You really broke this down for us. And by the way, that is amazing what you have learned and ongoing and sharing with us. Thank you so much. I have a question. In your opinion, why are so many people so very interested in the details of wine throughout these past years?
Because it's been associated with people of wealth and style and class. You know, not so much in the vineyards of California or Europe. You know, I actually gave vineyard advice in Europe one time when I was in Italy. You know, you're dealing with farmers. You know, they don't care about the wine's going to be $500 at, you know, Sardi's or Burns here in Tampa, which has a great wine list. They're not concerned. They want to do their craft, sell their grapes, make their wine. You know, they know it's good. You have to convince somebody it's good. It's all you know, I mean, I enjoy the title. I prefer wine steward to keep it simple. You know, you can look up anything about me, about my education in viticulture enology. It's all available. So I'm not, you know, I was in a program once in 1991, and this is going back quite some time. 30 years ago was when I was starting to study wine. And Robert Mondavi, we all heard of Robert Mondavi, was at his 80th birthday party. I sort of crashed it with my buddy. He was invited, my buddy Tom. And he says he's planning to buy property in Chianti. He wants to grow some Sangiovese. But he needs somebody from Sonoma County that knows how to grow, and that's Italian. Duh. Looked like a shoo-in. But I had some health issues, and the family wasn't behind me at the time. My kids were too small. So I reneged. I was in the wine master program. At that time, there were about 100
Oh my word.
masters of wine. And now there's
Absolutely.
about 1,000. So in 30 years, the program has really grown. That's more or less what I was in. And I was learning more. Yeah, maybe I'm a little fuzzy on my chateaus, you know, because every Bordeaux, like Petrus, you take that, for instance, it's $8,000 bottle of Bordeaux. But you got to know, well, how much Merlot is in it to call it that name. So they go by blends, is what grows where on this side of the Loire, this side, south, that, you know, north. It's all like, you know, I'm a little rusty on that. I like Italian wines. I mean, I grew up with the Italian wines, and I grew up with California. But your palate changes. You know, like the Italian wines are drier. You know, I like the Burgundies from France. They're very subtle, small nuances. I can't afford them, but they're really good.
There you go. Wow, so much. There's so much to learn. That's the beauty part. I love that it's always a continuing process. It's not like a boring thing and you just stop there. Learning never stops. For example, even
Mm-hmm.
like I do like these YouTube videos. Every day I try to learn something new. There's always something to learn. So to keep our mind open is important. You're sharing some really wonderful information, and I look forward to your videos. So how often do you upload?
Once a week, usually on Thursday, Friday.
Oh, good. So we can look
I'm
forward to it
doing
about
it.
once a week, and
Yeah.
hopefully
Well,
at
but I
that
have
point.
one. The last one I did it on corks, and I actually
Yes.
I said at the end, you know, if you want to email me a question about anything, you can. Somebody did email me about corks, but I also made the disclaimer: you can't ask me about specific wines. There are 3 million wines produced each year. I can't keep up with that kind of wine
I
consumption.
wasn't sure if
Or
you were
even
just saying that to be exaggerative. Are there literally about 3 million?
different wines are made each year, more than that.
Wow.
Well, say you have one winery that produces maybe 3 wines. Well, when I went to Sonoma County, there were 17 wineries. Now there's 250. Just do the math. You know,
Yeah.
that's one little county. You got Napa, Europe. I mean, Burgundy is humongously big. I mean, it's, you know, people produce Australia, South Africa. Everywhere you look, New York State, Canada, people that produce this I think there was, last time I checked a few years ago, there were 5 million wineries.
Oh
Mom
my
and
God.
pop, there's a lot of people making wine. You know,
Incredible.
so yeah, I was not exaggerating when I said 3 million bottles each year. So the question they had about corks was interesting. They wanted to know, which I want to address on the next video. Well, what's with the crystals? You see, ever pull out a bottle of cork out, you see crystal. I go, well, it doesn't mean the wine's bad. It's crystallization built due to buildup of tartaric acid. You have tartaric acid, citric acid, and tannic acid in wine. Those 3 acids make that word up, pH, that we spoke about earlier.
Yeah, we
If that's
spoke
not
about
balanced,
yeah.
your wine will have too many tannins, or it'll be too flabby. So you got to balance your acids. That's why acid. But tartaric acid is like tartar. You know what they're going to take off my teeth at 2:00 today. I'm going to go for cleaning. It's the same stuff. You can buy tartar. It's often the same. And tannic acid appears in the skins of all fruit, red fruit. And citric acid, I think, appears in most fruit. Definitely lemons, limes, but it's also an acid found in strawberries, blackberries, black currants, you know, sort of like that. It's all
It's
over.
incredible.
You have to deal with the acid, like your pool. I know maybe you don't have a pool there on Mulberry Street, but when we used to have a
I
pool,
don't know anybody that lives there.
but we used to, when we had a pool, you had to check your pH. We didn't have one on Thompson Street. We had a Leroy Street pool that Uncle Sal used to go almost every day and do laps during the summer. Yeah, we're far removed from our roots, aren't we, Jan?
Yes, we are. But always in our heart, the basic stuff. I was so tempted to ask you to sing like a sentence or two. Then I said, no, that's not nice. But
Well,
because I
my
know
wife means to
you have to rev up
are
for
you going
singing in general, not you, everyone.
okay.
Is that
Well,
true?
I wake my bride every morning with a song. So the one I did this morning, I already did on one of my shows, but I'll be happy to do it again. Just in time, I found you just in time. Before you came, my time was running low. I was lost, all the losing dice were tossed. My bridges all were crossed, nowhere to go. And now you're here, and now I know just where I'm going. No more doubt or fear, I have found my way. Your love came just in time. You found me just in time and changed my lonely life, that lovely, lonely life, that lovely, lonely life, that lovely day.
Bravo. Bravo. Thank you. Thank you. We did not plan this, so I really appreciate it.
No, but I'm always ready to sing. I'm always ready to drink wine. It depends upon the hour, though.
I so look forward to your next video. Take a minute now, if you don't mind, mentioning regarding your book again, if you'd be so kind, put it up and show. Okay, I'm going to put you on a solo. Okay, hang on one second. Solo layout. Yes.
Yeah, it's a nice. I got it through Amazon. I just wanted to get a few copies made. It's been available on your Kindle, on your device, for a little over a year. And I waited the whole year, and I sent the check in just last week, 2 weeks ago, to Wounded Warriors. I said I would donate some of the money. Now that was for your device. Now I have a paperback. This is $12, a copy. This is this book maybe was the gateway to me doing everything, because I was suffering from PTSD. I decided to put my thoughts down, and then out of everything came a book, which I have 2 more parts of this book if I ever want to continue. They're already done. I just started writing, and then I wrote an article about Thompson Street, where I grew up, and sent it to this guy Al, who sent me his book. It's going to be part of a book come June of all short stories, short vignettes of people who published writers who grew up in Greenwich Village. It's called Greenwich Village When It Was Ours. And I know a couple of guys like Don Peruccio is going to be there. Al's going to write a story. So now I'm going to have another book, my name in another book, which is great. I'm also working on a book of short stories to be published. And this has helped me gain my confidence back as far as singing and remembering wine, because there's not much going on as far as wine-wise in Florida. But, they have grapes, but it's not like California, not like Italy. But I want to keep myself fresh and share my knowledge. And that's my book. It's available Amazon.
Thank you so much for being here. That book is wonderful. As you know, I read it. And I'm going to include, again, I'm going to remember this to do this, include our previous interview regarding specifically your book. I'm going to include it in the description box below. My pleasure. And check out the book. And check out your channel, please. The Singing Sommolier.
Peter Arcuri, the Singing Sommelier.
And thank you for also singing. Yes, thank you for also singing. We didn't plan on it. It was very kind of you to do that.
I didn't even think about it until Doreen said, "You're going to sing a song." I said, "I don't know."
Sometimes the best things are spontaneous, right? Well, there you go.
I did a lot of shows, Jan, and I don't like rehearsing. I'm trying to rehearse my videos. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head with knowledge and be myself, because if I rehearse, it gets too canned. I'd rather not be canned.
That's me. I'm the same way. For example, people have seen me actually cook an omelet, put together a crock pot meal, get on and talk about various topics. Those are my favorite videos. The least favorite for me, Jen, are the very scripted, which I rarely do. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I agree with you. Your work is wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Can't wait to see your next video. But folks, you can see his current videos. Maybe I should hook up your most recent video as well to the description box below. Thank you so much for being here. I will. Thanks, don't go away, Peter, because we're going to wave goodbye to everybody. So don't go away. Don't go away. I'm going to close the show, but you stay here. We're going to wave in a minute.
was wonderful. It was
Give
really
the wave.
Hey, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Jan.
Check out his wonderful stuff. Have an amazing, fantastic night. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.